Hi, and welcome to WCI University. This is your first lesson in business administration. And in our first lesson today, we're going to look at the principles of business administration. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to define what administration is, the need for administration, common business terms, management, and dimensions of management. So let's get straight to our lesson today. What is administration? Administration is a process of organizing resources efficiently to accomplish a goal. It is also the process of designing and maintaining an environment where individuals working together in groups meet specific goals effectively to create a surplus that translates into utilities. And when you look at this definition of administration, what comes to mind is a company where you find people working in groups who have specific goals and they try to work together so that they can create a profit at the end of the day. So, why the need for administration? Administration provides the foundation for management in many different industries. Management in that point has been highlighted, so I'm going to delve a little bit further and explain what management is. A business manager may have a wide variety of responsibilities depending on the organization they are employed with, and that is the reason why administration provides the basis for management for that particular manager. Common business terms that you're going to find in the course of your lesson are as follows. Number one, business, an activity that seeks to provide goods and services to others while operating at a profit. I'm sure at one point or another in life you've conducted a business, some trade or some exchange, and at the end of the day you would have wanted to gain profit. Number two, non-profit organization, an organization whose goals do not include making a personal profit for its owners and organizers. An example of a non-profit organization can be a charity. Sole proprietorship, business owned and managed by one person. Limited liability, partners are not responsible for debts of the business. This means that the person and the business are different. The company pays its own debts. E-commerce, buying and selling of goods over the internet. Need, necessary wants. These are the things we need in order to survive. Want, things you wish you could have. Profit, the amount of money left over a business has paid for the cost of producing its goods and services. In other words, we can say selling price minus the cost of goods, which is the profit. Revenue, total amount of money a business takes in during a given period by selling goods and services. Loss, this occurs when expenses are more than revenues. Competition, Rivalry among business who share target customers to sell their goods and services. Demand. The amount of a good or service that customers are able and willing to buy at various possible prices during a specific time period. Resources. Economic or productive factor required to accomplish an activity or achieve a desired outcome. So resources are in three types, and these are land, labor, and capital. Apart from those three that have been mentioned, there are also other resources that include energy, entrepreneurship, information, expertise, management, and time. Goods. Tangible products that are used to satisfy our needs and our wants. Services. Activities that are consumed at the same time they are produced. Importing. Buying products from another country. Exporting. Selling products to another country. Natural resources. Raw materials supplied by nature that come from earth, water, air, and are used to produce goods. Productivity. Measurement of production per worker. Efficiency. Producing goods and services using the least amount of resources. Monopoly. A market in which there is only one seller for a product or service. As I mentioned earlier, I said I was going to talk a little more about management. So, what is management? Management comes from the word manage, which means to take charge or take care of. Management is the process of getting things completed effectively and efficiently with and through other people. So you can work with people, or you can use people to get things done. That is management. What does being effective mean? It means doing appropriate tasks, and that is, for example, fitting the square pegs in square holes and round pegs in round holes. If you put square pegs in round holes or round pegs in square holes, it means you're being ineffective. So it means being effective means doing things appropriately. And what does it mean to be efficient? Means doing the task correctly at least possible cost with minimum wastage of resources. So in being efficient, you want to be using less costs, and you want to keep your wastage at its minimum level. Who and what do you manage? Human resources. And there's only one category in this area, which are people. You get to manage people in an organization. Inanimate resources. In this category, there are a lot of them, like processes, finances, systems, assets, and many more other examples that you can think of. So then, why do we manage? The most important reason to manage is to meet set goals. This cuts across, being it personal or an organization. You might set your own personal targets. You'd always want to meet those goals that you've set. Even when it comes to organizations, it's the same. They want to meet their goals, they want to meet their targets. The ultimate set goals for every organization include to make profits and create value for its shareholders. And that is the most important reason why businesses exist, and that is to make profit as well as creating value for its shareholders. Number two, to continue to exist by expanding the business as well as the customer base. To continue to satisfy its customers with quality and yet affordable goods and services. To recruit and maintain quality staff. To affect the society it operates, and sometimes beyond CSR. CSR simply means corporate social responsibility. The dimensions of management. There are two dimensions of management, which are personal, which include time, money, stress, body, home, and many other examples you can think of. Organizational include human beings, their attitudes, behaviors, expectations, values, cultures, aspirations, and many more other examples. Process, various operational processes, administrative processes, etc., etc. Finances. In finances, we have two: OPEX, which is operational expenditure, CAPEX, capital expenditure. Raw materials, buying and stocking of raw materials. Systems include management of equipment, IT systems, and information systems. Sales, sale of goods and services, advertising, distribution, promotions, etc., etc. Projects, or forms of projects that the organization undertakes. Strategy, any plan of action intended to achieve a major or overall aim and also beat the competition. Aspects of management. Management as a process. As a process, management refers to a series of interrelated functions. Management is a distinct process consisting of planning. Planning is deciding in advance what to do, when to do, and how to do. It bridges the gap from where we are and where we want to be. Organizing. To organize a business is to provide it with everything useful for its functioning, that is, raw materials, tools, capital, and personnel. Staffing. Managerial function of staffing involves manning the organization structure through proper and effective selection, appraisal, and development of personnel to fill the roles designed in the structure. Directing. It is a part of managerial function which actuates the organizational methods to work efficiently for achievement of organizational purposes. Direction has the following elements: Number one, supervision. And this implies overseeing the work of subordinates by their superiors. It is the act of watching and directing work and workers. Number two, motivation. It means inspiring, stimulating, or encouraging the subordinates with zeal to work. Monetary and not monetary incentives may be used for this purpose. Leadership may be defined as a process by which managers guide and influence the work of subordinates in a desired direction. Communication is the process of passing information, experience, opinion from one person to another. It is a bridge of understanding. You cannot work in an organization without communication. Controlling. Controlling is the process of checking whether or not proper progress is being made towards the objectives and goals and acting if necessary to correct any deviation. Controlling is the measurement and correction of performance activities of subordinates in order to make sure that the enterprise objectives and plans desired to obtain them are being accomplished. Therefore, controlling has the following steps: establishment of standard performance, measurement of actual performance, comparison of actual performance with the standards and finding out deviations, if any, corrective action. Management as a process has three aspects, which include: management is a social process. Relationship and interaction between people to help achieve organizational goals. Management is an integrating process. Ensures that all other resources, physical, human, and financial, are all brought together in harmony to achieve organizational purpose. Management is a continuous process. It is a never-ending process. It is an ongoing process. It is always aimed at finding problems and resolving them. It is the manager who accomplishes the objectives by directing the efforts of others. Management as an activity has the following aspects: information activities. A manager constantly has to give information orally or in written form to direct reports or superiors for the effective functioning of the business. Decisional activities. Activities are based on one or the other types of decisions. Decisions taken by one manager becomes the basis of action to be taken by other managers. Interpersonal activities. Management involves achieving goals through people. The interpersonal activities with direct reports and taking care of the problems are necessary for the manager to succeed. For example, bonuses to be given to direct reports. Management as a discipline. Any branch of knowledge that fulfills the following two requirements is known as discipline. There must be scholars and thinkers who communicate relevant knowledge through research and publications. The knowledge should be formally imparted by education and training programs. Since management satisfies both requirements, it qualifies to be a discipline. Management as a group. Management as a group refers to all those persons who perform the task of managing an enterprise. Management as a group may be looked upon in two different ways: all managers taken together, only the top management. The interpretation depends upon the context in which these terms are used. Broadly speaking, there are three types of managers. One, patrimonial family manager, those who have become managers by virtue of being owners or relatives of the owners of the company. Professional managers, those who've been appointed on account of their specialized knowledge and degree. Political managers, civil servants, those who manage public sector undertakings. Management as an art. Art has the following dimensions. Practical knowledge. In art, book knowledge is not enough. The artist must be able to use the knowledge appropriately by painting and making nice designs. In the same way, a manager can never be successful just by obtaining degree or diploma in management. He must also know how to apply various principles in real situations by functioning in the capacity of a manager. Personal skill. Although theoretical base may be same for every artist, each one has his own style and approach towards his job. Similarly, management as an art is also personalized. Every manager has his own way of managing things based on his knowledge, experience, and personality. That is why some managers are known as good managers, whereas others as bad. Creativity. Every artist has an element of creativity in line. That is why he aims at producing something that has never existed before, which requires combination of intelligence and imagination. Management is also creative in nature, like any other art. It combines human and non-human resources in useful way so as to achieve desired results. Perfection through practice. Practice makes a man perfect. Every artist becomes more and more proficient through constant practice. Similarly, managers learn through an art of try and error initially, but application of management principles over the years makes them perfect in the job of managing. Goal oriented. Every art is result oriented as it seeks to achieve concrete results. In the same manner, management is also directed towards accomplishment of predetermined goals. Personal skill. Although theoretic base may be same for every artist, each one has his own style and approach towards his job. Similarly, management as an art is also personalized. Every manager has his own way of managing things based on his knowledge, experience, and personality. That is why some managers are known as good managers, whereas others as bad. Management as both science and art. Science provides the knowledge and art deals with application of knowledge and skills. The old saying that managers are born has been rejected in favor of managers are made. It has been aptly remarked that management is the oldest of art and youngest of science. To conclude, we can say that science is the root and art is the fruit. Science provides the knowledge and art deals with the application of knowledge and skills. Management as a profession. A profession may be defined as an occupation that requires specialized knowledge and intensive academic preparations to which entry is regulated by a representative body. The essentials of a profession are specialized knowledge. A profession must have a systematic body of knowledge that can be used for development of professionals. Similarly, a manager must have devotion and involvement to acquire expertise in the science of management. Formal education and training. There are a number of institutes and universities to impart education and training for a profession, for example, WCI University. Social obligations. Profession is a source of livelihood, but professionals are primarily motivated by the desire to serve the society. In the same way, a manager is responsible not only to its owners but also to the society, and therefore he is expected to provide quality goods and services at reasonable prices to the society. Code of conduct. Members of a profession have to abide by a code of conduct which contains certain rules and regulations, norms of honesty, integrity, and special ethics. The All Media Management Association, for instance, has prescribed a code of conduct for managers, but it has no right to take legal action against any manager who violates it. Representative Association. For the regulation of profession, existence of a representative body is a must. For example, an Institute of Chartered Accountants of India establishes and administers standards of competence for the auditors, but the AIMA, however, does not have any statutory powers to regulate the activities of managers. From above discussion, even though it is quite clear that management fulfills several essentials of a profession, it is not a full-fledged profession because it does not restrict entry and managerial jobs for account of one standard or another. No minimum qualification has been prescribed for managers. No management association has the authority to grant a certificate of practice to various managers. The AIMA, for instance, has no legal powers to sanction defaulters of the code of ethics it has formulated. Competent education and training facilities do not exist. Managers are responsible to many groups such as shareholders, employees, and society. A regulatory court may curtail their freedom. Managers are known by their performance and not mere degrees. The ultimate goal of business is to maximize profit and not social welfare. That is why Hemans has rightly remarked the slogan for management is becoming "He who serves best also profits most." Features of management. Management is goal-oriented. Success of any management activity is assessed by its achievement of the predetermined goals or objectives. Management is a purposeful activity. Management integrates human, physical, and financial resources. In an organization, human beings work with non-human resources like machines, materials, financial assets, buildings to achieve set goals. Management is continuous. Management is an ongoing process. It involves continuous handling of problems and issues. It is concerned with identifying the problem and taking appropriate steps to solve it. Management is all pervasive. Management is required in all types of organizations, whether it is political, social, cultural, or business, because it helps and directs various efforts towards a definite purpose. There's clubs, hospitals, political parties, colleges, business firms, all require management. Management is a group activity. Management is very much less concerned with individuals' efforts. It is more concerned with groups. It involves the use of group efforts to achieve predetermined goals of management. This is where we end for today. Thank you so much for your attention.